This is the FLIQ, Scolia's front-facing camera designed for online gameplay. This was actually gifted to me by the wonderful people at Scolia. So first of all, thank you very much for that. They sent it to me to use it, to play with it, to test it, to see how I liked it. But you know what? I ended up using it to analyse a game that I played. Oh gosh. I played a game, FLIQ on FLIQ, got beat 2-1, and I played like a dog. And instead of hiding all of that footage and pressing delete, this is what I did. I used that match to see what FLIQ is actually all about. I wanted to see what I was doing as well as my opponent, because look, I trust people online. Scolia matches are proper legit. Never had an issue once. However, I wanted to see what I was doing, not just when I was throwing, but when I've got to collect the darts. What was my body language like? When I was waiting around, watching the screen, see what he was doing, what was I doing? Because believe me, you, practice matches and online darts matches, or ones that you play with your mates down the pub, are wholly different from each other. And I think we all know that. If you've ever felt solid in practice and a little bit, in a match, then this will probably make a lot of sense to you. Before we get into the footage, because I know you're all dying to see me get my backside whooped, it's important to be really clear on what FLIQ actually does. FLIQ, that's it, right there, very discreet. It's designed to only come on during online matches. Don't worry, the wonderful people at Scolia are not spying on you and watching your every move in your garage, in your bedroom, wherever that is. You're not setting it up to train either. And you're not doing what I did, filming yourself and recording it for analysis. Do you know what you're doing when you got it on? You're playing darts. Your opponent sees you. They see you. And the game feels much more like you're playing a real person. Because guess what? You are! But you can see them rather than just their dartboard. And that's the whole point. This is not about technique. It's about realism. It's also about integrity and trust as well. And that context matters for what you're about to see. Before I jump into footage and tell you what it's actually like to play with, let me just show you it very quickly close up. And here it is. It clips in here and here to your existing camera arm. Take it off, there's a button, you push your dart in there, boom, you can take it off. It's connected and powered via a cable that runs all the way down the back here, which is tucked away into the Scolia hub. And when you're playing a game, this lights up green. When that's green, it means you are live. Your opponent can see you. And when it's not green, it means it's not being broadcast, so you are not being filmed. And there you have it. Super simple to install. Clip, clip, cable down into the hub. Done. Green light comes on when it's live. Also really important to mention on this as well, it only plays FLIQ on FLIQ. So if someone hasn't got a FLIQ or they haven't, it's not active, then your camera won't show either. Only when you're playing other players with FLIQ will that green light come on and you'll be able to see yourself and they'll be able to see you as well. So what's it like to play with? The first thing I noticed when I started playing with the FLIQ, when it came on, was this. I was aware that it was on. I knew I was being watched. And I could see my opponent as well. So you know you're on camera, so you stand a bit straighter on your best behaviour. You're naturally then a little bit more conscious of what you're actually doing. But then, as soon as that happens, something really interesting happens as well. You forget it's on. Once the game starts flowing and you're into it, you stop performing, being on your best behaviours, and you just get on with it. And that's where this FLIQ becomes really useful, because it captures exactly what is happening. Shows what's happening when your focus is on the scoring, shows you what happens when you're focusing on that finishing, shows you what you're doing between throws as well, which I found really, really useful. My behaviour between throws, I didn't even know. I'm all over the place. I don't want to do this, but talk about the match. And I'm going to show you some footage from the match. And I'll break it down to 4 different sections of what I was looking for when I watched it back. It was not a good match whatsoever. I had a 100% checkout rate though when I won the leg. I did. Straight in double 16. Boosh. Started on the bull up. He beat me by 0.5 millimetre. And from that point on, I was Mr. Inconsistent. Lost the leg. I was shocking. The wheels fell off in that leg. Absolutely. But that's exactly where the footage is really useful when you're watching it back afterwards. If you record your laptop screen, that is. Because when things are going well, you generally don't question anything, right? It's when things aren't going quite right that you start thinking and analysing what actually happened. But if you don't see it and you can't see it, then you don't know. You're in a guessing game. This here stops the guesswork. I'm going to roll the video now, and there'll be 4 mini sections in each one where I've cut the video through and you'll be able to see the different sections. They are the bull up, in between throws, what am I doing? My behaviour in between throws. What am I doing when I'm throwing and collecting the dart? What does that look like? The oche position. I shocked myself how much I don't actually stand in the same position. And then the most important part of it is how I reacted to getting beat. It wasn't over the top, so don't get too excited. So here we are, starting with the bull up. Now, you can see my board nice and clear. You can see the coordinate of where the dart hit. Wasn't that far away. I'll take 31 millimeters, and then old Sean came and beat me by less than 0.5 mil. Gutted. The setup is nice and clean, so you can see him very clearly. You can see me in the bottom corner there. Now, I want to talk to you about, I've put some clips together about in between throws. So this is when it was first on. So this is the first time I've ever used it. So it's great to be able to see him and what he's doing, that he's genuine and his mat is exactly where it needs to be. But my behaviour in between, I'm just kind of like messing with my darts, looking at my laptop where the scores was and this was being recorded from, fiddling around, picking my nose, just kind of not paying too much attention by the looks of it. And probably that's not the best thing to do, but I really like how your opponent is on the big part of the screen and then you're in the bottom corner there. So it makes it very, very clear that you can see everything that's going on. But again, look at me. I'm just like stood there looking like pretty spaced out. It's probably not the best behaviour to be having on the oche. Look at me. Giving me a wobble against the wall. Look, cross-legged, hand on the hip, hand through the hair. Like, what am I even doing? I am not paying attention whatsoever. Walking backwards, surprised I didn't trip over it. Again, hand on the hip, scratching my head. Where am I even looking? I should really be paying attention to what he's doing, because at some of these points, he was close to finishing. And again, look at me, just stood around, ambling around. This time I seem to be paying a little bit more attention. I think I'd switched on a little bit from this point because he was teaching me a lesson, because man, I played bad. Look at this, head scratching, swaggering up like Liam Gallagher. What is going on? Look at me shaking it out like I'm getting ready to go, but I'm not. I've just got my darts in my hand, looking at my screen. Absolutely bizarre behaviour. Now, this is me on the oche. Look, what's going on? Throw, look nice and straight. Throw, that was awful. And then that one. So this is the throw and view now. So I've clipped up my throws and views, my collecting, so I can see it. It looks all right. Taking my time, but my wrist is really flicking out there, and then I just had to give it a shake out. And then look, head down, not happy with that whatsoever. But he wasn't happy with it. He snatched his dart out as well. It's good to see that I'm not the only one who was upset about not playing well. But they seem to be going all right, but there's something going on with my arm in that throw. It's kind of bending like this, but from the elbow. And I know this is not what Flick's made for, but I'm glad I'm looking at this now and explaining it to you, so you can see that even if you think something was going wrong, I knew I wasn't playing well, but when I can see it backwards, it's not like when I did the pose and tracking app the other day, when I knew exactly, I could see what I was doing. It looked pretty good. But again, arm looks pretty straight, but then it's just flicking out like that. Wow. I give myself a little wobble again. But yeah, wow, that was really quite bad. And I admitted that I played like a dog in this game, and there it is, just hanging around, waiting now to just throw, giving my beard a scratch, hitting the darts, thinking it's their fault. Naughty, naughty darts. But look, oche position, this is really important for me. When you look at where my foot is now and my position against the brown sofa, you can see that I'm almost in the same position every time. So when I'm setting it up to get to that oche position, these are very quick clips, by the way, I look like I'm standing in the same position, which is good. And that bit there was where I lost. Bad. Really bad. Sorry. But the interface is really good. And that is what it's for. Not analysing yourself as much as I just did. What a bad day at the oche that was. However, look, it's not designed to analyse everything. I just took the opportunity to do that so I could see what I was doing, because I knew that when I play a match, I'm like a cat on a hot tin roof sometimes. I'm going to be really clear, and it's really important to be clear on this, is that what the flick is not for. It's not a coaching or an analysis tool. It's not for rebuilding your throw. It's not for freezing yourself frame by frame. It's a mirror. Used properly, it'll stop you guessing. Guessing is what causes you panic. Remember, this was sent to me to try out by Scolia. But everything I'm telling you and everything that you're seeing is my genuine experience with it. It's not a hype review. It's not a technical breakdown. It's my honest views on the flick. And do I like it? Yeah, I do. When I was playing that guy and I could see him online, I felt so different. I felt like I had to step my level up. And that was the first ever game I played on it. And the more I play on it, do you know what? The more I'll learn to relax. I know that for a fact. I was rushing. I wasn't being great. And more importantly, I just had a bad day. And I'm going to park that and move on. The next time I play, I'm not even going to think about it. If you have a Scolia and you want to play a match with someone and you want to see the actual person, because when I was online, there was loads of people with them. So it makes the match play a little bit more genuine. It's also really interesting to see other people, what they're doing, how they stand at the oche, how they throw the dart. Sometimes you think, do you know what? I'll tell you what, mine ain't that bad. What it has done, it's also opened my eyes to how I behave when I'm collecting the darts, and when I'm going back and what I'm doing. I think I need to concentrate and calm it down. That's my takeaway from watching myself on it. What's your thoughts on having a forward-facing camera where you can see your opponent and they can see you? Let me know in the comments. Get involved below. If you've got a Scolia, would you be tempted to buy one? If you're buying a Scolia, would you get one as an add-on as well? I had to take the opportunity to turn it into a full-on analysis of what I did. It's just what I do. But remember, I'm not a coach and I'm definitely not a professional darts player, as that video shown you. But I have had real good fun with it. And when I saw them clips back of myself, I cringed a little bit. But you know what? As I said, as time moves on, the more I play with it, the more I'm sure I will forget it's even there. And this is coming from a guy who talks to his bloody camera and phone all day long. Anyway, that's my intro and review of the flick by Scolia. Get involved in the comments and let me know what you think of it. Please also, if you're still with me, don't forget to like and subscribe to the video. Until next time, I'll see you on Flick.